We are diving on deep to a great conversation with the Port of Shelton, and I've got Wendy Smith and Dick Taylor on the air with me. Wendy's the executive director, and Dick Taylor is the Port of Shelton Commission chair. Good morning, gang.
Good morning.
morning.
How y'all doing here?
Super.
Good.
And what's been going on?
How about this weather? A little
Well,
cool, you know?
cool now, but
Getting good.
Patrice is forecasting 90s through next week.
Yeah.
Right.
Upper,
Yeah.
maybe 99.
Oh, really?
Oh,
I didn't
man.
see
Yeah,
that.
it's
Wow.
going to be a hot one.
Back to school.
Back to school.
Yeah, there you go.
Always
Yeah.
happens.
It does, right? The kids are longing for those nice days of summer as they look out the window in the classroom. Pay attention, kids. Let's get back to work.
Get to work.
What's going on with the Port of Shelton recently?
Well, we had our marina walkthrough last, what was it, Thursday?
Friday.
Friday. Lost track of time.
Yeah.
Took the commission down there and with the our engineering contractor, Art Anderson, group down to look at the actual conditions at the marina. And they're, coming up with the plans on what we need to do and how to, and figure out how to finance it.
Yeah.
So one of the people in the team was a grant writing expert or a grant writing professional.
So those
So
people,
we're gonna look-
they see something and they go, I have friends or I have written a grant that kind of focuses on this portion. Or I
Well-
think that this portion could fall under this grant. Is that how
Yeah,
that
kind of.
works?
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
yeah. She's a professional, so she knows the programs that are available,
Yeah, okay.
and she can say, well, look, if we do this in this way, it comes under a USDA grant, U.S. Department of Agriculture grant. That certify or classify certain portions of it on how you do it,
Sure.
and that's why she's along, and I'm eternally grateful that she was
Yeah.
there.
Yeah, she seems super knowledgeable, and she's actually a consultant of Art Anderson that came along to hear what we had to say, what this finance looks like, how much is it, and then look at the docks themselves. And she's helped several ports and several tribes and several nonprofit groups. She's got a very long background with grants, and she said she actually lost track. I don't think you heard this, but she said she actually lost track at one point of, she used to say, I've gotten, $1.8 million over, or 20.8 or, whatever the number was. She actually, so she's probably in the, into the 100 millions.
Wow.
Because she was saying, for Port of Manchester, we did this pier, and for Port of Waterman, we did this, or maybe that was the pier. Anyway, those were, like 1.4, 1.6, so you add all those together over time and you're well into, so
Big
she
chunk-
said she.
big chunk of money.
Wow, that's great because we talked last week that this was going to be a big project.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah,
it
2.8
is.
million.
It is. So the problem still lies with the fact that the most immediate need is that south dock replacement, and that dock does not serve the public.
Yeah.
And so it does serve. I should take that back. It does serve the public. It serves members of the public that have chosen to bring their boat or vessel or boathouse there, and that serves as their permanent moorage. They are public.
Yeah.
But you as a public could not walk down that dock and fish off it or have some kind of public service. So that's where we're trying to figure out. So the best thing that came out of that meeting was there are grants available, not specific to that, but if you have an overall plan, and so that's what we're kind of hedging towards now, is to come up with our comp plan, revise our comp plan for that portion, the marina, and have the funding agencies look at that 2015 5-year plan, whatever, and be able to say, so maybe today replacing this dock doesn't really fit our need, but a boat, launch, a new commercial dock that has transient moorage, it has commercial slips for, industry, those things are fundable. So future shows that they're moving in that direction. So that's kind of where we left it
Right.
on Friday, which was more positive than going into Friday, I think.
It doesn't seem like a project like this where if you're on land, you could say, well, we need to take this a step at a time. We'll do a driveway first, then we'll do a foundation next, This kind of all has to go in the water all around the same time, doesn't it? Otherwise, you're back
dock,
in the permit.
The dock portion of it does.
The permits and all that.
Yeah, it sounds like, because there was another sub-consultant with us who does the permitting side, and the permits are going to take 1 to probably 2 years just to get the permits. And then those permits are good for like 5 years. Then if you're not done with all your projects in 5 years, you can keep asking for like a 1 year extension.
Oh, okay.
And so 5 years is a good amount of time, but when you talk about projects as big as these, that's not very long.
Yeah.
So, I think the struggle here is the fundable items are the least needed.
Yeah.
They're wanted. They're the least needed. We have a need right now, and it's the most not fundable. So it's like we want to do the projects
Right.
in a different order, but unfortunately, we can't control the weather,
Yeah.
and so that's the tough part. Yeah.
Wow.
So, yeah, it's just a lot of good discussion.
Yeah.
And
Oh, yeah. And it's one of the, they talk about our comp plan, and we talk about our comp plan, but really, in the world of ports, in the Constitution of the state of Washington, the ports don't have comp plans. They have comprehensive schemes of harbor improvement, is what the title is. So
Yeah.
I kind of like the title, comprehensive scheme.
Yeah.
yeah. Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, so we're going to get to work on. We just extended a contract with Art Anderson. They're under contract with us, and they're under contract for 5 years if we want them. And so they're going to help us revise that plan and just kind of get all that we talked about
Right.
in the mix. In the meantime, we actually are thinking, along the lines of, maybe longevity is better than, we've kind of designed or set out to design docks that are real environmentally practical and friendly, but they're not maybe the longest standing, they're not the concrete
Toughest, yeah.
anymore. They're the grading and all that. So some of the tenants have actually come forward and suggested, maybe you ought to look, because our North Dock, that we're just kind of doing minimal repairs right now, it has been there. Nobody can even remember when it went in.
Oh, wow.
So, and it's still there, and it's still usable. It's got problems, but not, it's not unusable. So we kind of are trying to think outside the box, well, maybe the cost is similar, maybe it's a little bit more, but if the longevity's 40 years instead of 20 years, and if we can get the permitting agencies to buy off on that, then, so there's just a lot that it's just big, and it's technical, and it's, so.
Very cool. What about the other properties, port properties?
So our maintenance crew has been working really hard on the railroad. We could all start singing.
Yeah, so we're working on the railroad now, yeah.
But yeah, the rail needed, it periodically gets shut down it widens just from use, and it's old. And so they replaced about 100 ties. This is really hard work, all by hand. It's hot.
Yeah.
So that's been the last couple of weeks. They've really been working hard out there. And then having to, our gauges are all different sizes because we're just kind of piecing it together. It's real hard to find parts. And so, but they've been really working hard on that. And so just to keep that rail operating. And
is it still good rail traffic up there? Or?
Yeah, we don't have a ton of use, but Belco.
We have steady use.
We have steady use, and Belco uses it, and they have a lease for that use. It's non-exclusive, so others could use it. But of course, we have property available. So if anybody knows anybody, or
bring
so
it on
there's
down.
property,
Come on down.
So
and then, let's see. So Sanderson Field, then anything going?
So not a whole lot going. I did want to mention. I had a phone call, and I'm just going to talk general terms because the nature of the phone call was a whole different issue. But the perception of Sanderson Field and its roads are that we get funding from the county and the city for our roads in port property, particularly at the airport, but all our port properties. And I just kind of wanted to say that is not true. They're fully funded and maintained and paid for by us.
Okay, so if you're driving on the 101, you turn into Port of Shelton property. Once you cross into the property, it's you guys.
You're
It's
on
us.
our highway, and we're
So any
paying
of those
for it.
roads are maintained, they're funded, they're built, done solely by us. So, everybody talks about a county road fund, and that absolutely, that funds county roads, but not our roads.
Interesting.
Same with city. So the individual I was talking to is a local individual. It was actually, we were talking about a company, but he said, our city funds and our county funds go to fund those roads, and I said, actually, no, they don't. So just thought I'd throw that out for the
Is there
public.
a fair amount of mileage on those roads? I mean, like the amount of roadway on Port of Shelton property that you guys take care of?
Yeah,
I
good
can't remember
question.
what it is.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm sure there is.
More than
and-
2 miles.
More than
And
2 miles.
definitely some of those roads were put in
Long
long
time
time
ago.
ago.
Yeah.
So they're narrow, and they have seen their, we have in our budget now a road fund. We just started it last year that we're trying to, save up some reserves, because those roads are going to need to be, definitely.
And they're in pretty good shape right now.
They are. There's some, at Business Park North, some of the kind of side roads to
Yeah.
get to them are kind of crumbling a little bit, but we could maybe seal them or do something.
But when you compare them to other roads in the
Yeah.
area,
Mhm.
we're in good
Things are
shape.
looking pretty good then.
yeah.
Interesting. Well, that's a
Yeah.
good distinction then. All right. Well, then let's surface on out of here. We'll revisit this conversation next week at this time with Wendy Smith and Dick Taylor. Good to see you guys.
Good to
You
be
too.
here.